Hold a pad of steel wool and a steel nail side by side. Same metal, same atoms, same chemistry. Touch a flame to the nail. Nothing much happens. The surface darkens slightly, it sits there. Touch a flame to the steel wool, it erupts. Sparks race across the fibers. The whole pad glows orange and gold. Tiny burning fragments fly outward. It looks less like a cleaning product catching fire and more like a firework going off in your hand. Same material, one burns dramatically, one barely reacts. Why? The answer has nothing to do with the steel it's made of. It has everything to do with the shape, with how much of the metal is touching the air at any given moment. It's one of those explanations that feels almost too simple, and then you see it everywhere. Let's get into it right here on Small Things. Same metal, completely different behavior. Steel wool is not a special alloy. It's ordinary low-carbon steel, the same basic material found in screws, nails, and structural beams. The difference is form. Instead of being cast into a solid shape, steel wool is produced as thousands of incredibly thin strands, tangled together into a soft, compressible mass. Each strand bends easily between your fingers. The whole pad feels almost weightless. But weigh it against an equivalent mass of solid steel, and they're the same. The steel wool weighs the same, it just looks like far less. The difference is space. Thousands of tiny air gaps threaded between the fibers, creating a structure that's mostly void. That structure is the key to everything, not the chemistry, not the metal, the shape. From abrasive pads to fireworks. It didn't begin with science experiments. It began with the problem of cleaning things that were difficult to clean. For most of human history, abrasive cleaning relied on natural materials, sand, pumice, ground shells rubbed against surfaces to scour away rust, grease, or old finishes. These worked reasonably well on soft materials, but on hard metals they left marks, or failed to reach into corners, or wore out quickly. By the 19th century, as manufactured goods proliferated and the need to maintain metal surfaces grew, the search for better abrasive became more urgent. Steel fibers emerged as an answer. The metal was hard enough to cut through rust and old paint, but could be made flexible and fine enough to follow curved surfaces and work into tight spaces. Early production was crude and inconsistent. The industrial breakthrough came when engineers developed machinery capable of shaving extremely thin ribbons from steel wire, not cutting the wire into pieces, but peeling continuous curled strips from its surface the way a blade peels a thin shaving from a bar of soap. Those shavings, naturally curling and tangling as they emerged, formed the loose fibrous mass we know. By the early 20th century, steel wool was in homes and workshops across Europe and North America, used for removing rust, stripping old finishes, polishing glass, and preparing wood for lacquer. It was a practical tool with an industrial history. The burning came later, mostly by accident. Someone connected a battery to a pad of steel wool and watched the whole thing light up. The electricity heated the fibers enough to start a reaction that the steel itself then sustained. No additional heat source required. The pad glowed, sparked, and consumed itself in seconds. What had been a cleaning product became a demonstration, then an art form, then a question that science teachers have used to open chemistry lessons ever since. But understanding why it burns requires understanding something that the inventors of steel wool did not set out to create, and most people who use it for cleaning never think about. The enormous amount of surface that exists inside a pad of steel wool, and what that surface does when oxygen can reach all of it at once. The manufacturing process made it happen without intending to. The peeling that creates the thin fibers also creates the geometry. Every fiber is a surface, and there are thousands of them. The geometry that changes everything. So why does steel wool burn when solid steel does not? Start with what burning actually is. When iron burns, it's reacting with oxygen. Iron atoms combine with oxygen atoms, releasing energy as heat and light. This is the same basic reaction that produces rust, just happening at a radically different speed. Rust is iron oxidizing over months. Burning steel wool is iron oxidizing in seconds. The reason rust forms slowly is the same reason solid steel does not catch fire. Only the outer surface of the metal is in contact with air. The iron atoms inside a nail are surrounded by other iron atoms. Oxygen cannot reach them. So even though the reaction is possible, it can only happen at the very edge of the object, a tiny fraction of the total iron present. Now imagine stretching that nail into a thread 1/100th of a millimeter thick. Same volume of iron, same number of atoms, but the surface area has increased enormously because you now have a long, thin cylinder with far more outer surface relative to its volume. More iron atoms are touching the air. Steel wool takes this much further. Thousands of those threads tangled together with air flowing freely through every gap. Every strand is a surface. Every surface is iron in direct contact with oxygen. The total exposed area inside a single pad is vastly greater than the pad itself would suggest. Introduce enough heat and the iron atoms at the surface begin reacting with the oxygen right beside them. That reaction releases heat. That heat ignites the next fiber. The reaction spreads through the pad, each burning strand heating the ones adjacent to it, sustaining itself without an external flame. The sparks are the most visually striking part. As the fibers burn, tiny fragments break free, still hot, still reacting, shooting outward while they continue oxidizing in the air. Each spark is a piece of iron completing its reaction in mid-flight. That's why the shower of sparks looks so much like fireworks, because the physics is essentially the same. It's not about the steel. The most common assumption people make when they first see steel wool burn is that it must be a different kind of steel, a specially treated or unusually reactive metal designed for the demonstration. It's not. It's the same steel used in nails, bolts, and kitchen knives. The reaction people find surprising is not a property of a special material. It's a consequence of shape. Any metal that oxidizes in air, iron, magnesium, aluminum, will burn more easily in fine fiber form than in solid block form, for exactly the same reason. More surface, more contact, more reaction. Magnesium ribbon, which burns with a bright white light, works by the same principle. The ribbon formed exposes far more magnesium to oxygen than a block would. Fine aluminum powder, which burns so rapidly it's used in rocket propellant, is just aluminum with a surface area vastly greater than the same mass in solid form. The metal doesn't change, the geometry does. This matters because it reveals something about material science more broadly. The properties we associate with a substance, its hardness, its reactivity, its conductivity, the way it behaves under heat, are not fixed. They depend partly on how the substance is arranged. A material that seems inert in one form can become highly reactive in another. Steel wool is the most accessible demonstration of that principle that most people will ever encounter, sitting right there on a kitchen shelf looking completely ordinary. What burning steel actually does. Today you'll find burning steel wool used in ways that range from classroom science to professional photography. In physics and chemistry lessons, a burning steel wool demonstration is one of the fastest ways to make the concept of surface area feel real rather than abstract. Students who can state the definition without any emotional response will watch a pad erupt into sparks and immediately understand something they did not before. The concept becomes visible and impossible to forget. In photography, spinning steel wool has become a recognized genre in its own right. A burning pad is placed inside a metal whisk on a chain. The photographer spins it in a wide arc in a dark location while a long camera exposure captures the trail of sparks, producing images of glowing circles and spirals that look entirely unlike anything in the physical world they came from. The results can be genuinely beautiful. Steel wool also continues its original work. Fine grades are still used for finishing wood, polishing metal, and cleaning glass in applications where synthetic abrasives are too aggressive or leave residues that affect coatings. In antique furniture restoration and musical instrument repair, specific grades of steel wool remain the preferred tool because of the level of control they offer. The same properties that make it burn, thin fibers, enormous surface area, flexible structure, also make it effective for cleaning. The geometry that produces sparks also produces the finest possible abrasive contact. The burning and the cleaning come from the same place. Shape changes everything. So why does steel wool burn when solid steel does not? Because they're not, in any meaningful sense, the same object. Same atoms, yes, but the arrangement of those atoms changes everything about how the material interacts with the world. Steel wool does not burn because it's a different metal. It burns because its shape changes everything. When steel is stretched into thousands of tiny fibers, oxygen can reach far more of it at once. Sometimes, what changes a material is not what it's made of, but how much of it is exposed to the world. That principle sits inside a cleaning pad on a workshop shelf, waiting for someone to touch it with a flame and watch ordinary steel become something extraordinary. If this changed the way you think about the materials hiding in plain sight around you, let us know in the comments what you want us to explore next. We might make it our next episode. Thanks for watching. History often hides in the smallest details.